episode 18. 18? Hey,
do I need to press my SAP button? I didn't know. I don't have an SAP button on me, so I'm going to be all English. So subtitles.
Buenos
Asshole production crew.
noches.
Subtitles.
Hell no!
Oh, wow. 18.
I got it right.
It's like we had a baby, and he's all grown up. He's 18
Don't forget
now.
to fill out your the draft card.
Oh, yeah.
Selective service, that's what it is.
Yeah, I remember, like, that kind of freaked me out back in the day.
Oh,
when I
yeah,
had to fill
going
it
through
out.
all the classes.
I actually didn't do that, and then they sent me a letter, and they were like threatening me. So then I definitely sent the letter back.
You don't want to mess around with that.
No, especially not while Trump's in office.
Yeah. Might send you to build a wall.
We could use a good wall. They should put one around the White House, I think, right now.
Don't forget to take the stuff, by the way.
I have things to tell you about that.
Oh, yeah.
A couple parents bought brand new Xbox One and PS4 for
Oh.
the class.
Oh,
Oh, shit. Look at, he was so happy to get rid of it.
damn.
We're gonna be like savers of the Adventure Club.
Why'd you wait so long?
What are the age of the kids that were there?
It was Monday that they found out.
Yeah,
It's like
today's Wednesday.
kindergarten through
It's podcast day.
5th grade.
Oh,
K through 5.
what a shame. Oh, well.
Well, while they're working out business, I'll just go ahead and tell you guys it is podcast day. Sad Dad's Club podcast day, episode 18.
Just so you know, you can find us everywhere that you can find podcasts.
You can find us
Spotify.
on iTunes,
Spotify.
Google Play,
iTunes.
and-
Spotify.
and also
Sad Dad's
YouTube.
done that.
Also, I'm working on another one, trying to get us in on iHeartRadio.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm waiting for some confirmation from them. I don't know how long it takes, but that might be on the.
That
might
would be
coming as
interesting
well.
because you can do some of those through Alexa. Actually, man, I haven't thought about that.
Well, you know, sometimes you just got to work on stuff.
That would be interesting.
So iHeartRadio may be coming. It's in the works. We just have to, I think, go through the approval process, and we've had our podcast long enough now that they should be like, yeah, bruh, it's all good.
So it has to be like a number of uploads before you get.
They required 2 months of publishing before you can even apply.
Oh,
Yeah.
that seems fair.
Yeah. No, that was cool. So I had to wait and then filled out a form. I'm just waiting to hear back from them, I guess. They didn't really give me a lot of information.
You're like, ooh,
So we'll see.
and a YouTube channel. Yes.
And the YouTube channel.
Best production crew around.
I don't know, that last episode.
Yeah, we have critiques. We should
Put 'em
probably
in 2 weeks
do
in.
before we wrap up.
Yeah.
Because everyone was, so we get all on the same pages.
Yeah, we should. We're going to have a production meeting before we leave tonight.
Probably.
I already put my 2 weeks in them out.
Yeah,
That makes
we'll have
sense.
some orange slices and some Capri Suns. And then have a
Yeah.
production meeting.
Uh-huh.
Everyone did a really good job today.
Uh-huh. Everyone gets a trophy.
Data's versus goal.
You get a trophy, Datus. We'll give you a trophy.
What did I do to deserve that?
Nothing.
Well,
That's
yeah,
the thing.
obviously.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You
I
didn't do
I
anything.
have an idea for the tail end of the white space that you're.
Not the tail end. I'm talking about the part where
Right,
where our names are.
I have thoughts on the tail end too because I don't like all the white space either.
Oh.
So anyway,
Oh, okay. Well, we'll get to that.
we'll get to that.
I mean, this is, I don't think the audience needs to listen to our production meeting. Either that or we could just call this like Sad Dad's production meeting podcast or something. We could just do production
See
meetings.
how they fill the white space.
Yeah. And then
Tune in next week.
people could be
We
like,
give you a Final Cut Pro rundown.
what did they decide on the Final Cut Pro thing? And
It was a swipe and
Yeah.
then a fade.
yeah, and how about the After Effects?
I'll just screen record myself editing the podcast and then just upload to YouTube the screen record. So
Yeah, like
it's
a-
just like a real BTS.
like a
kind of
supplemental.
thing.
We could just make it easy, make it a screenshot of Final Cut Pro, and we'll just make that the video for like
Yeah.
You
10
gotta go
minutes.
like this
Yeah.
in the picture.
I gotta.
Yeah.
Anywho. So, also, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. It's important.
Click the bell. Please make
Um,
sure, because sometimes it does get unclicked. Don't ask us why. That's a YouTube problem.
Come follow and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Sad Dads Podcast. Help us get some Twitter followers, please, on Twitter. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
At Sad Dads Podcast. Whoever runs that Twitter account needs help. That guy's person.
Or, could be. Could be.
And then email us at saddadsclubpodcast@gmail.com. They slowed a bit. I'd like to see some more email. Kind of sad.
Yeah.
Not enough. It's not as much mail.
Yeah, but we picked up a lot in YouTube comments, I think.
That's true. Yes, we did. I noticed, our website has a thing for comments, and they're on, but no one's ever commented in there.
I think that when you look at where people like to get their stuff, I think given that there's all of those, there's a mosquito on your right shoulder. You have successfully scared away the mosquito. You win. I think when just about every depot for a podcast has their own comment stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It starts to get unless we have people that
I just think
listening at the website.
Yeah, I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
So, what did we talk about in the last show? Do you remember? I don't. Off the top of my head, I don't really recall, but we did. I mean, we did over an hour, so we talked about something.
It was trying to blank.
What did we talk about?
Panginas?
Oh, you know what? We really did talk about a bunch of. I think it just ended up being mostly about what happened over the weekend.
Right, the Disneyland.
Yeah.
Your feet.
Yeah.
Fleet feet.
Yeah, the Cards Against Humanity and all that stuff. So okay. So that's what we talked about last week. But anyways, let's just go straight to the weekend stuff now.
Right.
What did you do this weekend?
A metric ton of yard work.
Do you have something I can measure that out and quantify what you're saying?
No, it's an amorphous scale that we put the effort on. And it always comes out as metric ton.
Is that so? Metric ton, is that different from a shit ton?
Yeah, it's a lot more.
Oh, it's more.
It's like a tangible amount of more.
Really?
Like I had patching early, and because it was nice outside.
Now, when you're saying patching, are you talking about
work.
like no, like nicotine patching?
Yeah, I was just load up both arms and just like, and then yard work time.
Yeah, nicotine.
Let's go.
Do you think you can get? Speaking of patching and nicotine, do you think you can get hooked on nicotine by using the patch?
I thought you could.
Can you?
Yeah, I mean it's still.
I mean,
nicotine.
we know smoking, you get hooked on it from smoking, right? The nicotine. But if you aren't a smoker and you just start slapping patches on your arms, are you going to get hooked on nicotine? I don't know.
I would think so.
Maybe is it
because the nicotine's supposed to be doing something. It's still a stimulant, right?
Yeah. Well, are the patches gradiated so that like you start out with a ton and then like as you go they get less and less?
The red ones are super potent, a pack a day, and like the green ones are like half a pack a day.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I need a 10 pack. I need a carton a day nicotine patch.
I figured there was still nicotine in it, and you were just using those to supplement to get away from the lung, the actual
smoke inhalation.
The smoke, yeah, and all those drawbacks. So you kept the stimulant, addictive side of nicotine just transdermal.
To jettison the smoking part.
Yeah.
I mean, I just run into it. Like, if there's a house fire around, I just run to it, and I just...
Yeah. Like, oh, well, I could do a bunch of meat, or I could just go inhale the barbecue. Yeah.
There's no nicotine in it, though.
Yeah,
anyway,
no.
So a metric ton of yard work.
Yeah, because the days...
Which is more than a shit ton.
Were so nice.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, it's not raining. There's dog poops, chores to be done outside. Yeah. And, like, in our yard, because of the two big oak trees, in the winter or when it rains, it tends to stay moist on the ground floor. So we get like the miner's lettuce that just goes nuts. Once it starts, it just gets out of control.
Yeah.
So if we don't have an opportunity to get it off the ground and into the green waste, or just get it into a pile somewhere, it just starts to push out everything, and then it's just a pain. And then also what it does is, because the oak leaves and then the miner's lettuce or the weeds or whatnot get on top of there, then it stays moist, and the mosquitoes just hang out in like the small amount of moisture that's there on the floor. So it's like it get it out because it pushes away flowers, but also because the mosquitoes, if we don't get ahead of it, it's just a pain. So
I would have never thought that the mosquitoes would have been. I mean, unless you had like tubs of water out there that were.
Oh, and that too, right? So we knock over everything that's got like a puddle in it,
right?
But
spa.
Yeah, spa. We had bought the little biscuits that you chuck in there to keep the mosquito stuff down.
Yeah.
Really, too, it was make sure everyone gets outside and gets unplugged from a electronic device too. I mean, we had how many days of like rain it seemed, or a weekend that had rain. It was like, man, let's get outside.
I think it's supposed to rain this weekend.
Yeah. Friday, good. Saturday was like a mid-storm, 40%. And then it went back up to 70-something.
Well, the last I looked,
Sunday.
It was supposed to rain today, and we didn't get any rain today.
I didn't see that we were getting it.
That's why I asked about the rain.
I think it was like maybe it got pushed down. Anyway, so a lot of yard work. Everyone was out, like all hands on deck kind of thing. It was, a lot of sweat equity. Got ahead of it pretty far, but not all of it. I got a lot of the stones all swept off and weeded and clean. It was like, And then Sunday, Piper and Venus did some errands, and Xander and I went back out. I mean, I had a lot of wood waste so I made a fire in the fire pit. So it was very like, I had the smoke going around. Mm-hmm. Xander came outside. He was helping me Sunday too. We did a little bit more, but it was more like a half day of yard work on Sunday.
Did you ever just pick up Xander and be like, oh, I got to put this in the fire? Oh, never mind. It's Xander.
You're not,
sorry, buddy.
You're not dead weight log.
You're not wood.
It was, God, it was just so nice to get ahead of stuff.
Yeah.
I think that, I don't know about you, but I get like a spring fever thing that like starts to happen, especially when I get like a weekend where I get like a couple things on like a honeydew list or a self list. It's like, this stuff needs to get done outside. And most of it is like chores. Mm-hmm. But when I get outside and I get the gloves on or the hands get dirty and I start knocking off one or two of these things, it's almost like a self-feeding machine where it's like, I got to get back outside and do that other one.
Yeah.
It's like, the cover for the quad has a tarp that's busted. It needs a new thing. It needs a new tarp. It's sagging in a whole bunch of places. And I'm like
Data's pants.
Really what I need to, right, with the wang hole.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, really what I need to do is build a better thing.
Yeah, to cover
so
it.
Then I'm like, okay, so I need to start planning out this.
Yeah.
And everything starts revolving around outside. And then I think Sunday evening, I came back out into the garage, pulled the Focus out, and just kind of like cleaned up more of the garage because I felt
it
like
looks good.
I felt like I had to do more stuff. Like,
the studio looks presentable.
Right. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Getting there. And a lot of those little things too. So then I'm looking at the quad. And so I'm thinking about that as far as my next project for like a content creation thing. And that starts dialing me back into like rabbit hole stuff on YouTube on like, the repairs and things to mod on the quad. And that spins me off into like, man, when I was on this, like the feels that I would get. I think I've covered it before when we were talking with Mike about the motorcycles and whatnot.
Yeah.
Being on the quad or the motorcycle or in the Focus, like, and driving for me, like the temple, like being in a machine for me is like a visceral thing.
Yeah.
And so as I start looking at and putting more time into think about what I need to do for the quad, it like, man, I can't wait to get on this thing, and because I like realized how much I missed that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that happens a lot with like I said, like the spring fever thing. It's like I don't mind being outside and just sweat equity kind of thing. Like, which is weird because I consider myself by far like a gaming tech nerd. Like I'm not shy. You've seen my setup. It's like I've got gadgets and battery powered knobbies all over the place.
You could certainly spend more of your time just playing games.
Right, but give me a shovel and a hole to dig for a purpose.
I got a hole for you to dig.
And man, I will be, pig and slop kind of thing. That would just
you like the land kind of thing,
right?
Yeah.
And so that speeds me into like I've been spending some time looking at stuff for TT. For the trip to make sure that I feel like I need to primer up on
just research in general, knowledge,
being more fluent with motorcycles because it's been so long since I've been on one, since I've mechanically tinkered on one, all that stuff, and I don't necessarily know a lot about the history of the TT. So I started spending more time, flipping through some books and some YouTube channels of prior older races, whatnot. And then that too, like being on the quad, it puts me on like man, I miss riding a motorcycle. Like, damn. Like, oh man. And so it's like, everything is like a damn rabbit hole. And that was all packed into Saturday and Sunday.
Well, I pull up here and I see the snowboards in the back.
Oh, right.
For me, that conjured up, man, I really want to go fucking snowboard.
Right, and that was another one, because we talked briefly when we saw Mike and his story when he took his son up to snowboard.
Yeah.
Like, how great would it be if we did would you be interested in a vlog day where we went up and we snowboarded, and you're like, the fuck, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, So, yes, before you guys arrived, I was going through and I was cleaning the cabinets, and I pulled out the snowboards so I could re-put them back in.
Yeah.
And I got the same, we had a 20-minute conversation plus.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, snowboards, God, so much fun.
I love snowboarding. You have no idea how much I love snowboarding.
Yeah. And that's why I told the kids, too, because it was after Mike's Instagram stuff. I'm like, are you kids, either of you kids, interested in learning to snowboard or going snowboarding? And both of them were just like,
oh, yeah, good.
Like, Venus has hit her mark and she's gone back towards skiing, which is totally fine.
Yeah.
We may rib her a little bit. But, who's to say that Piper and Xander won't prefer skiing either? We have extra equipment for both of, well, not for Xander, but for Piper, because she's pretty close to Venus's height, to try it. She doesn't like it. We're not really out anything. We already have the equipment for the most part.
Right.
So really it's about finding the next opportunity. Hopefully if we don't get 80-degree days, maybe March-ish, where we'll try and get one of the kids
or
up.
More snow in general.
Right, more snow is fine too.
Yeah.
And then try
there's
and
always
get that
room
in.
for more snow.
Yeah.
Always.
Does
The mountain
Shan go?
does not care. Shanna is a skier.
Skier?
Not big skier. I don't think that she even goes. She might stay on the bunny hill. But I think the last time we went, we took Melanie.
Yeah.
And I think we went to Soda Springs.
Yeah.
And so Melanie spent her time on the bunny hill taking lessons, and it was the first time, and she didn't really care much for it.
Yeah.
But I think Shanna just sort of stayed around that bunny hill for her, and Chandler and I were off doing our thing.
Yeah. I think relative to the age of my kids, I think there's obviously an evolution of how I would end up spending my day.
Yeah.
I think I would obviously it's not going up and shredding and up and shredding. I'll probably blow out muscles and joints trying to help kids down the mountain. You do that 3 or 4 times, and I'm probably done for the day, as opposed to when I was younger and it was like, I need to get 7 a.m. to closing lift of
4
like
o'clock.
shred.
Uh-huh.
And I could do it.
I still have that mindset, but I don't know if physically I could do that anymore.
You would probably. Here's I think what happened.
I would probably try.
You would probably try.
Yeah, and-
you would probably get to about 2 o'clock and you'd be like, I feel like I did good today.
I don't
And then
know.
the next day you would hate life.
Oh, for probably a week after. Yes.
Yeah.
Um.
But it would feel so good. That's why I think it would be funny to do it
Yeah.
blind with like a vlog setup. So that way we'd be like, yeah, let's
Yeah,
do it. And then we'd
I-
be like, cool.
I mean, what was the last time I went boarding? Was that with the Scouts? When we went with like,
Probably a good
The
7,
Winchell's?
8 years ago.
yeah, it was a while ago. But before that even, it had been a number of years, a really long time, even longer than that. And I remember, it's just like a bike for me.
Oh, yeah.
A little sketchy getting off the list the first time, and then a little sketchy like maybe quarter way down the hill, and then after that it's just go.
Oh, yeah.
And
I really do think, for me personally, it's a lot like a bike. Like
Yeah.
the anecdote with the bike.
yeah,
It's, once you have the mechanics and the balance down,
yeah,
if you prefer, like in Venus's case, she can do it, but she would be just more comfortable and prefer to just ski from henceforward.
yeah,
I could do both. I've
Yeah.
done both. I enjoy snowboarding more. I haven't done it in probably, what was the squaw thing?
oh yeah. That's a couple,
3
years,
3
ago.
years ago,
Yeah.
2-3 years ago.
Yeah,
It would take me half a hill or so.
yeah,
And then probably the next run, I'd be looking for, a 2 or 3 foot something.
always
then-
looking for the jumps.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, did it get it? And then by that point, it's like off to the races.
Yeah.
I would hope. That's the young me, like, do it. And then,
Oh, I love shredding the hill, just flying down the hill.
yeah.
There's something about speed. I remember so I think did I tell the story on the podcast? I'm not sure if I told the story or not. If I did, tell me. When we went with the Scouts, we had this dad. He's probably listening to the podcast now, but he would give me crap about being a snowboarder, and I kept telling him, "Don't give me crap about being a snowboarder. Trust me." So then when we had the opportunity to go with the Scouts, him and I ended up on the top of the hill together. He's
Yeah.
all, "Let's go," and I'm like, "Okay."
Are you ready?
So I ended up passing him, and he's
Skiing or snowboarding?
he's
too?
skiing.
Okay.
He is a big time skier. His whole family goes up somewhere and they stay in a cabin usually once a year for like a week or two, and they go skiing almost every day. And when I shredded past him on my snowboard, it was like he couldn't pick his jaw up off the snow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like, okay, I gained a bit of his respect.
Yeah.
And in fact, I talked to him like a couple nights ago on my way home from work, and he was asking me if I wanted to go boarding. You want to go up?
Yeah.
So he knows now.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
He has since stopped giving me crap, which I think is funny as hell.
Yeah.
So yeah, good old Scott Winchell.
I would never do the like the the rails. I was never like the park guy.
The snow park or the.
But
I'll ride the half pipe a little
I was
bit.
not shy with any of the jumps.
Yeah.
Like the tabletops. But like the actual park where you had the guys sitting waiting to drop in on the half pipe or the rail stuff. I'm like, not my thing. But like the one that was usually off to the side that had a series of tabletops and ramps and like 4-footers, 5-footers,
Yeah.
like stuff.
That was
And
your
then
thing?
and then you get like the last one of the day where I would just be like, okay, well I'm gonna skip the jumps and I'm just gonna rip this mountain from like top to tail, like just
Now
back
see,
for. Oh man,
I love ripping the mountain, and I also enjoy the cornice jumps more than the man-made
yeah.
stuff that's on the hill. I would much rather drop off a cornice than go hit some
Tractor thing.
rail hill, or
Yeah.
tractor built whatever.
Yeah.
And even better if it's some like side jump that people have just made throughout the day, then I'll hit that too.
Yeah.
But I'm not a big snow park, or the half pipes are really hard to ride.
I never got those.
Yeah, the
wasn't
whole
my bag.
The whole catching a edge on the half pipe was really difficult.
I was always afraid of that.
Yeah.
I'm like, and that's why I never bothered.
Yeah.
And if I went through it, usually it was just like right down the middle. Like,
well,
I'm in the half pipe.
I mean, I'll go.
Oh fuck!
I'll ride up a few feet, or a few feet up on each side. I won't come close to the top typically, but even if on a few feet, so there's a couple times where it gets a little sketchy. Like which rail should I be on right now? You know what I mean? So, I mean, I'll figure it out eventually. If I did it enough, I would figure it out. But I never really cared much for the half pipe stuff or the snow park stuff. I don't see the value in sliding my board and potentially tearing out something, or you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
On one of the rails,
I wouldn't know what to do when I got to the top anyway, so it would look kind of buffoonish. I'm like, God, it's not like I'm Tony Hawk or Shaun White here.
Right.
I'm just gonna get to the top and go, fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
I once caught my tailbone on the corner of a box, and I don't think I ever went back to another box.
Yeah.
I also think it still hurts today, and this was like 10 years ago.
Yeah. You can definitely mess yourself. I mean, I've hurt myself on just a jump that was just someone had made.
Think of
I think I tore myself a new asshole.
It was
on
probably
one jump.
with Sarah. I mean, so I've ridden with, some of the old buddies. We're not always necessarily like park guys too. So it would almost be like we had like a smorgasbord of like rider styles. So it was like sometimes we come down the mountain and we're shredding it. Sometimes we stop off and hit like a park jump. Sometimes it's like
you follow each other,
right?
And those guys go do their thing.
Oh, fuck, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Where's Jay? Oh, he's like and head down in a fucking snowbank somewhere. Don't go that way.
No, we always went up with a few people, and we spent a lot of our time at Donner Ski Ranch because back then it was really cheap.
Really cheap. Yeah.
And so Donner Ski Ranch we spent most of the time on the backside of the hill.
Yeah.
And usually if you're looking at the mountain from the front, on the far left side, on the backside, there was powder to be found back there.
Oh, yeah.
You could bump through the trees, and if you could keep your speed up, you could make it through the trees and run a fat powder run. That was a lot of fun. And then on the back right side, there was always some cornice to jump off, and we always found something to do.
Yeah, a lot of the back, probably roughly the same times we were there. A lot of the times the back was ungroomed.
Yes.
Minus like the immediate lift space.
Yeah.
The front was like I came up to do some.
Well, the front was like just gets abused.
Right.
It's just everybody's on the front.
But if you wanted a little bit of peace,
or God forbid, you should take the front run that goes down the side of the mountain and has that nice flat spot so that you get stuck. You ever do that?
Oh, yes.
Oh, shit. You know how many times I had to
looking at the mountain was like the left-hand side.
I had to skateboard push myself out of that flat space. Oh, Jesus. That was a pain in the ass. And then by as you improve, I got better at like managing it a little better, and then being able to scoot through there, and you're passing people who are like pushing.
You do the
all right, come on, we're good here.
Towards.
Don't catch an edge, God damn it, because if I go down, I'm gonna have to push.
You know the shredding thing.
Yeah.
So have you ever snowboarded outside of California?
No.
So
snow is different in different places.
Yes, for Colfax John, for his bachelor party, we went to Park City, Utah.
That sounds awesome.
And we went to this one. You're good. We went to this one resort right off the bat. And we got turned around in the parking lot because it was for skiers only.
Oh, that's the old Alpine for us, right? Alpine Meadows.
And like some guy in like an Audi unpacking his like skis, and my helmet was just like,
snowboard?
Do they allow snowboards now? And we went,
oh, they don't?
We're from California, brah. What? No snowboards. We kind of like looked at each other like, we're like, Oh my God, they don't.
What year is this?
That's like discrimination. You should
I
sue
don't
for
know
that.
when John got married,
Because I'm thinking.
but it wasn't.
Well-
it was current enough at the time where I was like, how is this a thing? Really?
Well, there back when, so I started snowboarding in high school, and this was in the late '80s. I think the first time my brother and I went up and did snowboarding, and we took like a half-day lesson and snowboarded the rest of the day. And I want to say that was like 1986, 1987. This was like back then. It was very new sport.
Yeah.
And at the time, there were most of the Sierra resorts did not allow snowboarding, and Donner Ski Ranch was always one of those places that was very sort of liberal in their things that they would allow on the hill. And
Yeah.
I've seen some weird ass shit on the hill at Donner Ski Ranch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they don't care. If you can get down the hill on it, they don't give a shit if you want to use it.
Snow skate.
But they
Yeah.
saw it was one of the, snow skate.
Yeah.
They saw the value in allowing the snowboards on the hill because they knew that no one else was going to do it, first of all, especially the big resorts where the skiers really fucking hated the snowboarders.
Oh yeah. Well,
And,
yeah. And that's what. Yeah.
Yeah, and so Donner Ski Ranch and I want to say Boreal were like the first two. And then some of the other big resorts sort of were like, okay, because what they really thought was they were a liability and that snowboards would be runaway, like skis, how they have the stop, right?
Mm-hmm.
If a ski ever comes off your boot, they have those stops that dig in the snow.
Right.
They were always worried that the snowboards would get loose and like hurt somebody,
Right.
or that you couldn't control a snowboard.
You know, that's funny because I remember always in the early days, I always remembered the leash.
They
checks.
had a leash on them.
Like,
yeah.
Hey, no leash. Like,
Yeah.
do you really think that I'm coming out of these bindings?
Yeah.
Really? On both feet?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yep. And
Yeah, but the leash.
the Performa
no stomp pad.
Burton snowboards with the split tail, and they had a metal fin on the bottom, which is a pain in the ass. That was a killer. That thing, I remember having a leash on that, and we rode those a lot back in the day.
So
but anyway.
Park City thing.
Yeah, yeah,
The place we ended up going.
yeah.
While they were cool with snowboards, I don't think they had a park. So it was Park City, Utah. So
So
the
they
mountains
didn't-
were huge.
So they didn't have a snow park
Right.
like a half pipe and
nothing like a sugar bowl.
Okay.
So it was all runs. So it was all carving, all shredding.
I'm
And
happy with that.
And it was probably top 3 experiences I've
Yeah.
ever had on a snowboard by
Kirk-
far. And there was no park. There was no jumps.
Yes.
It was just like, here is, and I've never been to a resort with runs that long that were that amazing. It was just go.
Yeah.
And we would get to like halfway, 3/4 of the way down the mountain and just be like quads on fire.
Yes.
And we're all young bucks.
Yeah.
And it was just like, okay,
I need to take a little break here.
gonna take a moment, take a beat, and then we would finish it off.
Now-
God, it was so amazing. All carving.
That
All
one
carving.
for me was Kirkwood. We did Kirkwood a couple times.
Yeah.
And Kirkwood is a huge resort, and it's like you take a lift and then ride down the back and take another lift and ride down the back and take another lift.
Yeah, yeah.
And it takes you like half the day to get back.
Yeah,
And
these
the,
were
and,
yeah.
and the runs are as long as F.
Yeah.
And you could just be going for days, man. And it was just so much fun.
God, yeah.
So much fun.
It was like a 30 minute plus, and the lifts were really fast.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like, this is gonna
They're
suck.
the
It's gonna
detachable-
it's
yeah.
gonna take me the same length to get up it as what? No, man, the lifts were fast. You got back up
Yeah.
the top. It was like 30 minutes. We're like, for okay,
Yeah.
burning.
Yeah.
God,
I
was
miss
good.
that stuff. I do. I really
I
miss
gotta
that
go
stuff.
snowboarding.
Oh gosh. I mean, I was so into it that I had started looking and applying for jobs up there
Yeah.
and started looking for housing in Truckee because I was like, I'm going to move up there.
I'm going to do
work,
that. Yeah.
And I'm going to fucking snowboard all winter. I'm going to be one of those people.
Yeah.
And luckily it didn't work out. Probably because it probably wouldn't be here to, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what I would have done if I had moved to Truckee
Now
and
you have
snowboarded all winter.
recreational wants.
Well, I mean, what do you do then in the summertime?
Lifeguard. At Mega Aquatics.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine if I had actually followed through with all that. But I was asked my wife. She went up there with me to look for places to live and work. Crazy! I can't believe I almost did that.
Yeah, so that was my weekend. Which
Awesome.
is still, all the little knickknacks are still left out.
Well,
as
it's
a
very
result.
much cleaner in here. I was, starting to worry about you.
Yeah.
Well,
What'd you do?
this weekend was pretty mellow weekend. Since we finally got the daughter back to school.
Oh, yeah.
So everything has sort of settled back down. We took Data's and his girlfriend to Uncle Vito's Slice of New York Pizza.
Where's that at? Oh, that was the one we had talked about. wasn't it?
Yeah. It's on 16th.
Yeah.
And that place, they make great pizza. It's really good New York style pizza.
Was it really just a slice?
Yeah, it's a
Is
slice.
that enough for you guys?
We get 2.
You get 2 slices.
You get a piece?
They're like $4.75 a piece.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
So,
decent sized slices.
What kind? What kind?
You can get whatever you want.
Oh.
Yeah, you can. They'll make whatever you want to put on it. Shanna had olive and mushroom, and then they put cold tomatoes on there for her, which is something that she really likes. And then
Are they making a whole pie and giving her a slice, or are they making a?
they're making a pie and then cutting slices and then putting ingredients and popping it back in the oven.
Ah, I gotcha.
Man, it's good pizza. Very crispy crust.
Yeah.
But still the New York sort of softer at the front end because it's real thin.
Yeah.
Very, very good pizza. And then they're connected to this sort of other restaurant where you can get like Thai style fries and
What?
buffalo fries and a bunch of different flavored fries.
Talk to me about the buffalo fry.
Oh, they're good.
Is it like
Ranch?
dipped?
No, it's
Just the
it's
seasoning.
like fries
is
with
on it.
the sauce and stuff on it.
Oh.
It's good.
Very good.
It's like, I think it's got ranch on it too. Ranch and buffalo.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's very good. And then
Sounds like a Saturday
the
trip.
Thai has a Thai chili sauce on it with like jalapenos and some
Yeah.
onions. Very tasty. Too much food. I mean, I overate. It's that good.
Are they
I know
usually
what it
busy?
is.
How's parking?
Parking is kind of a pain because right in that area there's no. You're parking on the street, so you got to find a spot. We found a spot maybe a couple blocks away. No big deal to walk.
No, yeah.
And then it was, I think, metered parking. And I think I paid
God, that sounds so good.
$2 or less until 8, and then it was free after that.
What day did you go?
Saturday night.
We had some beer too.
Yeah, had some drinks. It was good. I recommend this place, especially if you like New York style pizza. I want to say I don't have a ton of experience with New York style pizza, but this seems like the real deal. And I hear that from people that I know that have been there that really enjoy New York style pizza. So if you get a chance, go there.
I think yeah.
I forget what the cross street is. It's on 16th though. Is it 16th or 21st?
It's either 15th or 16th.
Okay. Anyway. Yeah, it's on 16th. No.
Just go like this.
I think it's 21st.
And then it'll force him to put the address or the tag right above your head when he puts it in post.
1501 16th Street,
16th,
Sacramento, California 95814.
I always remember it's the street that is, if you stay on it, heads out of town onto 160. So that would be 16th.
Oh.
Yeah.
16th and Carriage Path or
Very good. We did that, and then Data's had been to the reuse place over on Washington. There's like
it's like a used you donate stuff there. It's kind of like a Goodwill basically.
kind of like Goodwill.
Yeah.
He had been in there with
Hargs.
D-Harg's his buddy, and they were looking for some used tools.
They didn't really have that good of a selection.
You could donate to them.
Circle back to tools when we're done.
Okay. They had been
Did you just
looking.
call me a tool?
Maybe.
They had been looking for some used tools, and he found in there that they had a set of chairs and a table, the same set of chairs that we have in our kitchen, which over time we've lost to them being broken.
Yeah.
So we were literally down to one chair, and that one chair was like on its last leg, so to speak. And so Chandler had found us 6 chairs and a table. We didn't give a shit about the table.
Right.
For $55. And the chairs were really good condition. So we were like, okay. So we went over there and looked at them. $55. Yep, we bought it. Grabbed his buddy's truck and went and picked it up, and then took the table to the Goodwill and donated it.
Hey, there you go.
We were like, we don't need the table. Man, they're great. I mean,
They don't creak. I haven't fallen out of one.
way higher quality chairs than the original ones we bought from Montgomery Ward's. Like,
Wow.
yeah, like 20 years ago or more. So we did that. That was that on Sunday or Saturday too?
Where is
That
this?
was Saturday.
Reuse?
Yeah, it's on Washington.
Reuse, recycle. It's over by the baseball,
arena.
softball.
Oh.
By Rockville. Out in front. If you when you go to Rockville, you kind of come in.
Yeah.
You do that right turn to go to. It's to the left, right on the front. Yeah. But they have a ton of weird shit in there. You could find all kinds of weird. If you're looking for something weird, you could probably find it in there for super cheap.
Do you need a toilet that's been used? Go there.
No.
All toilets have been used.
Not the brand new one.
Yeah.
Unless they have the shit factory
Well, they got to test them.
in the factory.
They got a guy just eating shit all day, and he's just letting loose.
Letting it back out.
Yeah, hold on, and then he pinches it, and they put a new bowl underneath him, and he goes.
I just imagine a guy's LinkedIn account. What would his job description be for that?
Shitter.
Professional dump taker?
I'm a professional shitter tester.
He's fecal engineer.
I'm a fecal engineer. That's good.
What's your QA? QA.
I'm the head of fecal quality assurance. But so that's what we did. We didn't really do too much, to be quite honest. Shan had some party she was going to, so I just kind of chilled. Yeah, but it's got me thinking, like, how much stuff I need to do to my backyard and stuff I need to do to my car. I need like a valve adjustment. I think it's burning oil from the valve seals.
No.
Yeah. So it needs a bunch of work, and I'm not sure if I can. That's stuff I want to tackle on my own or not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In addition to the friggin' leaky heater core.
God.
I know.
You know what you
I
gotta
just get a new car.
You got to start with the garage.
Well, the garage has actually been worked on
You
a
got
little
to
bit.
pick a wall and
Yeah.
be like, okay.
If I could just get my bench cleaned up enough that I could use my bench for stuff, I would be happy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because a lot of times it's like, well, I can't do because then where am I going to put?
Yeah.
A lot of times that happens. It's like you take off something, and it's like you don't want to put it on the floor.
Right.
You do that once.
Right.
And then the next time you go to tackle that, whatever that is, you're like, I can't. This project will take me longer than one day, so I can't put that thing on the floor. And my space is too cluttered.
Yes.
So you don't do it, right?
Exactly.
You're left with like, I'll
Yeah, I'll do it later.
I'll go do that one later.
Stay tuned for next week when Jim talks about how he cleaned his workbench off.
Yeah, probably not.
Plus, it gives you, there are like some tools, like when I started like the things that I would do for the quad. It's like, do I have that tool anymore? Like, where is that?
Mm-hmm.
So I can't, prepping a project like that. It's like, well, I can't get to B. A is like a comprehensive, like, where am I at with tools?
My problem is the amount of time it takes to clean the bench to do the thing that I want to do. That the cleaning of the bench part is probably about 90% of the time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
how much time it's going to take to to tackle that thing.
Yeah.
And then everything else after that is just like kind of cake, but getting there and just organizing and getting rid of the stuff that I don't need. And why is this on the bench even? This doesn't even belong here.
Oh, yeah.
Some corded thing that's now wound up with 16 other things that are all wound up together now. The thought of just going through all that crap is just not
sounds
fun.
fun to me.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you're
Like I
hired
said,
then.
well, it's a lot like the yard work, right? It's like
Yeah.
there's so much to be done. It's like you take an opportunity. It's like I can't. It's sunny today's, and when I was giving stuff to the kids, it was like, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna break these off into little spaces and give it like a best shot. And if you get done, we'll bite off another chunk.
Yeah.
And that's how I have to approach it in here because
Yeah.
I get locked the same way.
Yeah.
It's like I step out the door and I see a massive amount of effort that's needed and hours upon hours that it will take. And the only way for me to find a way to tackle it is to say, I'm going to empty out the snowboard. I'll organize the snowboards first
and admire them.
and I'll admire them and I'll show them off to Jim and Data's when they show up. And then I'll put them all back in a bag and that cabinet is done. And then I'll move to the next cabinet over tomorrow and see what's in there and spend an hour and a half with the stories and reminiscing. But eventually I'll get further down.
Yeah.
And then once that's off, I can do the really cool thing that I'm ready to tackle.
Now I have a similar issue, but also in the backyard, is we have a tree back there that needs to come down.
Right.
And we've had some estimates to have it taken out, and it's been fairly expensive, so we sort of backed off of that. But we have been cutting on this thing, and it's to the point to where the stuff that needs to come down is so high, it's basically dangerous to try and get up in the tree to start cutting stuff off the tree. And the tree it sticks up over the peak of the roof.
Oh.
Wouldn't you say a good 10 or 15 feet?
Yeah, and you don't want to be on one of those like funny fail compilations. Laugh and you lose. And
But
it's
this-
like you up on the roof and like the stump comes down and smacks you in the nuts. You're like,
Yeah.
and then you fall in the pool and you're like, you lost.
I mean,
If it goes north, it goes into the house and also a window.
Yeah.
If it goes south, it goes into the sound wall and or Pleasant Grove. If it goes west, it crushes the pool, and if it goes east, it crushes the neighbor's fence. And they're all very close together.
they're within
You have
the fence to the neighbor's yard is probably 10 feet away. To the back sound wall is probably 10 feet, and to the house is probably 10
Very
feet.
small tolerances for
Yes.
failure.
Yes. So the whole rehabbing the entire backyard has sort of been hinging on getting this damn tree out of the
You
backyard.
need to have a work party. You tell Mike to
Well-
get CJ to come up with a bunch of beers he wants us to try, and we rent a couple chainsaws and ladders.
So drunk people with chainsaws.
Do it, right?
Right.
We'll just set
Oh,
a time
God.
lapse camera up somewhere.
What we need is
and we'll make a day of it, and
we need like a lift that you could lift up in and
oh yeah,
you know what I mean, and just you could just piece things off of it until you get the top trimmed out. Once you did that, I think the rest would be fairly easy. But getting all those top bits off is the hard part. And I don't know. I think a lift was $150 for the day or something. And that doesn't guarantee, though, that I can get it into the backyard through
I was
the
going to
fence.
say, are you talking about reaching over from the sidewalk on the other side of the wall, or this lift crawls through your side gate?
Well, I thought about that, and you might be able to do it from It depends on what kind of lift you get.
Oh, okay.
If you have a bucket lift, then you can do it outside the wall, and then you can just raise up into the tree.
And I'm sure probably someone would take offense to some random guy driving a lift
Down the sidewalk.
through the oleanders on municipal
city
owned,
side?
Yeah. Oh, don't worry, I'm just cutting down my tree. What the fuck are you doing with the lift out here? You're like,
I've thought about that, but I
no
don't
other
think
accent.
I would give too many shits.
No,
You
it
know.
certainly would be funny though. You're
Yeah.
just taking this lift down
Just
the
cutting my
sidewalk.
tree down,
Everyone's
motherfucker.
like, You're like,
Well, you'd have to drive it. You'd have to drive it down the sidewalk. It would literally have to be on the sidewalk because the street's too far away.
oh yeah.
So you'd have to go down the sidewalk and park it sort of like right up against the wall and then lift up and then go
Just
over.
totally crushing everything in the way. Just put a hard hat on and like a fluorescent vest, and
Yeah.
they'll think you're like part of the city.
Yeah, no one would even question you.
I have a cone in my house that says PG&E on it.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, boy, they're
Oh,
bankrupt.
they just went bankrupt, so that doesn't help.
Well,
Right.
They're like PG. Hey,
Hey,
this is PG&E.
you can't drive that here, dude. We're bankrupt. We don't care.
Yeah.
We're done.
the fire department.
What are you gonna do? Sue me. Sue PG&E.
That's right.
Tell them I was here. I'm from PG&E.
What's
Yeah.
your name? Gerald.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Cool.
So, yeah. Anyway, so I have a similar thing in the backyard, which is rehabbing my backyard. But in order to rehab the backyard, I got to get that damn tree down.
Right.
So it's so funny because I look at it, I go, all the leaves are off of it right now. Look at the tree and kind of go, yeah, it looks like it'd be doable. Then I know as soon as I get on a fucking ladder and start climbing up the ladder because of how tall this tree is, I'll start getting second thoughts about whether or not I want to be up there cutting shit off of it.
Yeah.
You know,
We have a 10-foot chainsaw on a pole, and that doesn't even really.
when you
help
have
us
pieces
anymore.
of that are this big around, you're talking 5 or 6 inch pieces that are falling to the ground.
Yeah.
And what happens when they hit the ground and backfire and they spring off of things. And
My brother-
if you're on a ladder and a ladder gets knocked out
Yeah,
from underneath
yeah.
you, shit.
My brother, when his house, like the first time he's tried to tackle, he's got a huge tree that had been unpruned for a long time, certainly years before him and my sister-in-law moved in. And he was trying to tackle like his first pruning, and when you're dealing with trees and limbs of that size, and when you don't live closer to the foothills like my dad
Yeah.
does, and you don't have a chainsaw, I mean, he did an all-star amount of work with like Ryobi, 18 volt, like the chainsaw on a thing.
Mine's an electric chainsaw.
But it's
to make matters even worse.
he punished those 18 volt tools, and he got a lot done. But
Yeah.
getting up in some of these trees that are not just like easy limb saw type of things, it's daunting. It's
Yeah.
a daunting task.
Well, we have a 10-foot limb saw too. And just cutting through some of this stuff,
Right.
because it's pretty fair. That tree's fairly hard wood. I don't know what the name of that tree, what kind of tree it is, but the wood's hard. So you're expending a lot of
Yeah, yeah,
energy
yeah.
just trying to cut through these things,
Yeah.
depending on the size of them, and so
A lot of times too, you get these people that are like, "Oh, well, yeah, I have a chainsaw." It's like, "Well, what?" And, and so they don't. I mean, there is a difference between someone that's wielded a chainsaw that's running off a 2-stroke motor, than something that's electric or battery powered.
I
And
only
so
want-
there's a lot of times there's like, well, I don't know how this ends up. Like, what happens here? You get someone that's trying to tackle a job that's too big for the
Yeah.
tool that they have, and that I'm sure leads to mistakes in general.
Yeah. I only want competition chainsaw folks in my backyard. Where they're cutting through.
Yeah, the big old discs.
Yeah. I only want like
Swedish lumberman competition.
I want 3 of those dudes in my backyard who are willing to climb a tree, and then we'll be done in like nothing flat.
Yeah. Just do it.
I've even considered. Now I don't know. Hear me out here. I have considered, because I fucking hate this tree, literally notching it on the sound wall side and cutting it and just letting it fall
Into.
Yeah.
Oh, just.
Well, we used to have pine trees, but they cut those down, so now it would just fall on the wall.
I'd like slowly lean itself
Yeah, just
over.
like just kind of get some ropes on it and pull it. No?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're seeing like the big trees, like cut a big enough thing in it that you can put like a hydraulic jack, and you just kind of like inch it slowly into the lean
Yeah.
until it's. Then
Yeah, but then it's until that fucker comes down, it's sketchy as hell.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. But just I want it to lean over and just kiss the fence, and then we can cut it all up, pitch it back over the wall. Right?
Oh, yeah. You could do it.
But my problem, see what would happen to me, is if I did this, it would collapse the wall.
You know what's funny is the amount of times I've driven past there, I don't think I've seen the tree. I try to like look. I'm like, I wonder where that devil tree is.
Oh, it's there.
Right
now it has
like,
no,
yeah, whether
it has
or not,
no leaves on it, so it's just sticks. But it's when it's summertime, it is green and tall, and it's definitely more noticeable now since they cut the pines down. So
Yeah, see, I forgot they cut those down. too.
yeah, that wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
Couple months ago. So, anywho, aside from all that bullshit, do you have a news item this week?
I have one, but we're at 58 minutes.
Wow. We did it again. How is this happening?
Snowboarding. Worth it, though.
I can almost do another 58 minutes just on snowboarding right now. Let's
God,
talk about it.
Easy.
Go. And go.
Yeah.
No. Wow. 58 minutes.
Yeah.
I feel like the audience is suffering. We're giving them half a show right now. We're giving them a whole show, but we're giving them half of the content. You know what I mean?
It depends on whether or not they enjoy hearing about snowboarding.
They might enjoy just hearing production meetings.
It could be that as well.
Let us know in the YouTube comments whether you'd like to see snowboarding videos or talk, or if you
We
want
could
to
just
see
get
our
a couple
production videos.
Patreons and then spread the show to 2 hours, and then we wouldn't have to worry about it.
Oh, geez, wouldn't that be nice?
There you go.
All right. Well, gosh, I feel like we're just giving away half a show. Here's half a show, but in the same amount of time.
Are we still in January? Yeah, we are, huh?
Yeah, this
Bill, as far as
this week is January, or it's the 30th today. We're good.
No.
Well, gosh, people, can you believe it? We made it again through another show.
Well, I think we should give him a call to action right now.
What's our call to action?
You guys need to subscribe to everything.
Absolutely. There was speaking of that, I'm going to go into this real quick.
Okay.
There was a on Twitter, Apple Podcasts, whom we follow with our Sad Dads Club account.
Okay.
They had a question about which podcast are you listening to right now? And I retweeted that and said, let them know who you're listening to, hint, hint kind of thing.
Right.
Nobody did. So I want you guys to go on our Twitter feed and find that one and reply
and
tell them about Sad Dads Club podcast, because they don't even know we exist.
So you retweeted that?
Yeah. I retweeted that. I think it was last week. I think it was at the end of last week. But easy enough to find in our feed if you were just looking at our tweets.
I saw some comments on the last YouTube video. Keep it up. Do more of those.
Oh, you're
you're
engaged
talking
in
about
the
the comments?
conversation.
Yes.
Yeah,
Let
yeah.
us know what's up. If you have things to add, do so.
Yeah. Or if you have, even comments on the things that you want us to talk about.
You can even reply
Boom.
and say Data's is the worst asshole production crew ever. I don't care.
They don't even care as long as you don't fuck up the video.
Well, maybe they'll comment and say that I should fuck up the video.
Put more puppies.
Yeah.
What? We don't have those.
We need more assholes. Oh, well,
Whoa.
here's a couple pictures of Data's.
Well,
You
Jim
know what we
did
should-
say he had 2 assholes earlier,
I
Do,
did. Snowboard induced.
and that's why.
yeah.
That's why his
What
farts
day
smell
is Valentine's Day on?
The 14th.
It's in February.
I have no clue. Oh, you're looking at us sideways. You're the one asking the question, pal.
Thursday.
Is it?
Oh.
We should have Mike back for Wednesday, the day before Valentine's Day.
Oh yeah. See, we have to check his.
Because we couldn't good conscience have anyone here as a guest on Valentine's Day. So if it's the 13th, the 13th is recording day. We can have Mike. We can have Mike back.
Dragon, can we have Mike?
Yeah, can we have Mike
Can he come play?
for Valentine's pre Valentine's Day?
I think if we wanted Mike to be here every Wednesday, he would show up.
I believe he would.
He would just be here, and
He would
we'd-
just show up.
Oh shit, you're here? Well, hold on. Let me get you a mic, buddy. You know? All right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for hanging in there with us. We'll be back again next week, and hopefully we'll make it to some news items because I had some funny shit I wanted to talk about on that.
We
But
have such full weekends.
I know. We need to do less. I try. I try to do as little as possible.
I have so little time to do the things I want, yet there's so much time to talk about them.
I know. Well, that's the conundrum of
work?
being a sad dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, everybody.
Well, thanks for listening.
Closing out episode 18. Thanks for listening.
See you next week.
See you next week. Bye.